Georgia's husband found out about her infidelity from before they were married, and now she's distraught at the prospect of her marriage ending. But then we've got the perspective of Dylan, the man she cheated with, and he's got a significantly different version of events to Georgia.
2 years ago, I was invited to a party by my coworker, Dylan. At the time, I was 23 years old, and my now husband, Jack, was just 19. Jack knew about the party and told me to message him when I needed a ride home. I got drunk at the party, and in my drunken state, I ended up hooking up with Dylan. Yes, I know, it was a colossal mistake, but please, hear me out before you judge me. We were both intoxicated, and I never intended for any of this to happen. I didn't tell Jack because I was terrified of losing him. I loved him more than anything in the world. In fact, that same year he proposed to me, and we got married at the beginning of the following year. We moved in together, and I quit my job and got a different one near where we live. Fast forward to today, I walked into the kitchen and took one look at Jack's face and just froze. I'd never seen such a dark look in his eyes before. He asked me to sit down, saying we needed to talk. He took out his phone and showed me a conversation between him and Dylan. I felt my heart sink as I read it. Dylan: "Hey, is that Georgia in your profile picture?" Jack: "Yeah, she's actually my wife now." "Why?" Dylan: "Dude, how long have you guys been together?" Jack: "Ever since 2018, so a few years. Do you know her?" Dylan: "Bro, I slept with her at a party in 2019. Jack: "Are you messing with me right now?" Dylan: "Nah, bro, she cheated on you." Jack: "When did you guys have sex?" Dylan: "I don't know, sometime in August at a party." Jack: "Thanks for telling me." Dylan: "Sorry, bro, you gotta find out this way." Jack: "Glad you told me." I was in shock. My heart raced, and I didn't know how to react. I started apologizing, explaining that we were both drunk, but it felt like my words were falling on deaf ears. Jack asked if it was consensual, and I said we were both really drunk. Then he texted Dylan asking who made the first move, and my anxiety grew with each passing minute. Dylan didn't reply immediately, and during this time, Jack kept bombarding me with questions about Dylan, how long we'd known each other, if we'd ever flirted before, and so on. I couldn't hold back the tears. I was terrified of losing the love of my life. When Dylan finally texted back, saying that I was the one who started flirting and getting touchy first, my husband's reaction shattered me. He threw his phone on the table, put his head in his hands. I sat silently crying, watching, scared to say anything, waiting for his reaction. And then he stood up abruptly and told me he was going to his parents' house and that he'd be back tomorrow. In the meantime, he instructed me to start packing my stuff because we needed to discuss our relationship tomorrow. I couldn't stop crying, and I kept apologizing, but his voice grew louder as he blamed me for ruining our relationship. I'm completely lost right now. My world has fallen apart. We got married less than a year ago. We haven't even celebrated our first anniversary, and now it feels like everything is crashing down around me. I genuinely don't know what to do, and I can't stop crying. I'm heartbroken, lost, and in desperate need of help. Jack is the coolest, kindest, and most amazing person, and I don't want him to leave. Please, if anyone has been through anything remotely similar or has advice on how to navigate this incredibly difficult situation, I would be eternally grateful for your guidance. My life feels like it's hanging by a thread, and I'm praying for a way to rebuild what was once a beautiful love story.
Now that we've heard from Georgia, let's get Dylan's version of events.
I'm Dylan. I used to work with Georgia, and I'm the guy she cheated on Jack with. I'd like to direct my response specifically to her. Firstly, I want to clarify that I didn't personally invite you to the party. It was more of a collective decision among our coworkers to unwind after a tough week. We all asked if you wanted to join us for a drink at the bar, even though everyone hated working with you because you're lazy and make our jobs harder. Regarding the drinking, you weren't overly intoxicated when things started. You had a few shots and were already flirting with me way before you even had your first drink. At the time, I thought you were hot, and you agreed to jump in an Uber back to my place, where we had sex. You took a shower afterward and then got an Uber back to your house. I can't deny my part in it, but I want you to understand that it wasn't solely one-sided. When we returned to work on Monday, you acted like you didn't remember anything about us being intimate after I asked you out. That was confusing and left me in a difficult spot. As for your employment, I want to be clear that you didn't quit. You were fired because you were shit at your job and refused to do even the bare minimum and left everyone else to pick up the slack. When I saw you in your husband's profile picture, I reached out to him and told him what went down. After he left you at home to go to his parents' place, he kept texting me and asking for more details, and he pretty much just unloaded everything on me. He said he has been cheated on before, and I genuinely feel for him. He's a great guy, and it took a lot of courage for him to ask you out. You're right. He's the coolest, kindest, and most amazing person, which makes it even more bewildering why anyone would want to hurt him. I can't emphasize enough how sorry I am for my part in all of this. From what he's told me, he's made it clear that he won't be giving you a second chance, and he's decided to move forward. I just wanted to set the record straight, Georgia, since you omitted some crucial details from your version.
Thanks for setting the record straight, Dylan. Here's what I think of your situation, Georgia. You cheated on Jack and married him without giving him a chance to make an informed decision. When he found out the truth, you refused to take responsibility by blaming your actions on being drunk. You seem angry that he holds you accountable for wrecking the marriage, but who should he blame? There are only two of you in this situation, and out of the two of you, you're the only one who slept with someone else. Have you completely abstained from drinking since then and promised never to do so again? If not, there is no assurance that it won't happen again. Dylan didn't mention whether or not he knew you had a boyfriend at the time, but I suspect that he did know and willingly took you home that night. So he's just as deserving of blame, in my opinion. What did you guys think of George's excuse of being drunk when she cheated? I find it interesting to have two different perspectives of events from that night. It's funny how cheaters always try to spin things in a way that protects their reputations the most, isn't it? Thanks for watching. Tap that like button for me, please. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye.